Hello everyone. Let's talk about acquisition channels. You're preparing to launch your product or service. You're looking to define your go-to-market strategy. You have probably many questions, but one of them is central. Which acquisition channels should you focus on? I will indicate for each of them their characteristics and at what stage of business life they are relevant. There are two major approaches to customer acquisition, inbound and outbound. Let's see a bit of these acquisition channels. In the inbound category, you have SEO, SEA. So SEO, it's everything that is not paying to be among the results, the top results in search engines such as Google, Bing, etc. SEA, it's when you pay to appear in those results or when you pay to appear on feeds, walls, on Facebook, etc. So it's Google ads, Facebook ads, etc. PR or public relations. So it's when you pay PR agency to get mentioned on medias such as newspapers, radios, TV shows. Social content are pieces of content that you produce to be then posted on social platforms such as LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, etc. Partnerships and referral programs are for me very closely related. I consider it's almost the same thing. It's when you make a deal with someone else, another business, to distribute your product or your service to their own audience in exchange of a reward such as a commission rate or anything else. So it can be, for example, an affiliation program. Then in the outbound category, you have two subcategories, on-site and off-site. On-site channels are channels that can be operated from your office, such as cold email, cold call, voicemail, messaging, LinkedIn direct messages, which is obviously sort of messaging, but it's such a great channel that it has to be mentioned in a different way. You also have mail, classic mail, and then in the off-site subcategory, you have trade shows, events, street marketing, offline ads that are operated outside your office. Customer acquisition through inbound channels means developing a public presence. For example, by appearing at the top of search engine results for specific keywords or being mentioned in the press, or by regularly posting on social networks. Overall, the idea is to produce content. This content will capture the interest of your prospects. Some of them will naturally seek to learn more about the author of this content. Your website or your landing pages will then convert these prospects into customers. Posting content regularly has several advantages. It creates familiarity and consequently trust. It allows you to stay top of mind with your prospects. The goal being for a prospect to quickly remember your brand when a need related to your expertise arises. Leads generated by an inbound strategy are called inbound leads. These are prospects who come to you. Closing deals with them is relatively easier than with prospects generated by outbound methods. However, inbound can bring you prospects who may not necessarily fit your target audience. The classic scenario is when you are targeting businesses with more than 10 employees, a mature and profitable business. But inbound brings you solo entrepreneurs, freelancers, and startups that are still searching for their product market fit. Their behavioral profile is completely different, and ultimately it can lead to a waste of a lot of time. So when you have a lot of inbound leads, a qualification and filtering step is crucial before advancing in the relationship with those prospects. Organic inbound methods, non-paid such as SEO and social content, have an interesting cumulative effect over the long term. Initially, these strategies take some time to implement. It takes, for example, a few months in SEO and organic social content to see significant initial results. But their effect often follows an exponential curve. Moreover, these pieces of content continue to work for you, for the company, even if you decide to stop posting at some point. This is less true for LinkedIn, where the lifespan of a post is only a few days. However, it is entirely true for blog articles or YouTube videos. Let's see now the outbound part. Acquisition through outbound channels means actively seeking out prospects. These are outbound leads. The initiative comes from the company and goes toward the prospects. Within outbound, we distinguish between channels, on-site and off-site. Cold email, sending emails to people who have no prior relationship with the company, or cold calling, calling people who have no relationship with the company, are the two most archetypal examples of outbound. Compared to inbound, outbound produces faster results. It is also more predictable than inbound. We can model and predict the outcomes of outbound campaigns quite precisely once some initial campaigns have been conducted. Outbound is also much less personal and more delegatable than inbound. Different salespeople can take turns managing outbound campaigns, while content production is often associated with a creator, often one of the founders, who speaks in their own name and possesses strong expertise and a particular tone of voice. It's harder to replicate among a team of salespeople. In general, companies start with outbound channels and gradually complement their acquisition with inbound channels. When an inbound strategy works well, it can largely replace outbound in the long term. Guillaume Moubèche mentioned in 2021 that 90% of his clients were inbound leads and 10% only were outbound leads. This statistic is interesting as it comes from the founder of Lemlist, a SaaS tool for sending personalized cold emails. So even in the temple of cold emails and cold outreach, we see that in the end, inbound marketing can replace outbound strategies. Inbound and outbound can be highly synergistic. If your prospects regularly see you writing high-value posts on social networks, such as LinkedIn, and you then send them a cold email, the response rate will be much better. These prospects no longer feel truly cold because they have the impression of knowing you and perceive you as an expert. Conversely, outbound can serve an inbound strategy. You can contact content creators via a cold email campaign, collaborate on their channel or podcast. In summary, here are the pros and cons of inbound and outbound. If you look at inbound channels, the pros are it builds trust and familiarity. It has a huge long-term effectiveness. It can attract highly targeted leads. But the cons are it takes time to see results and it requires consistent content creation. On the other hand, outbound have the advantage of quick results, predictability, can be delegated, it's suitable for various products, but the cons are it's less personal, it requires a team, so management of a team, and it may require more effort in lead qualification. Next, each channel has essentially three characteristics: cost, scalability, and what I call the channel market fit. Cost has to be appreciated in relation to the average purchase value and also the customer lifetime value. The higher average purchase value you have, the higher cost of a channel you can afford. Scalability must be appreciated in relation to your total addressable market. Lastly, the channel market fit means that you have to take into consideration the sociological characteristics of the targeted prospects to make sure that the channels you pick are suitable to them. To assess channel market fit, you have to ask yourself, are my prospects naturally present in this channel? Let's take SEO, for example. Two questions here. One, do your customers search for your products? Second, how competitive is the space? SEO works well for ICPs, for example, because our target consumers spend a lot of time online searching for information related to growth hacking and sales automation. Furthermore, competition is not too intense. We have fewer than 100 competitors. In contrast, competition is much tougher if you are a digital agency or a communication agency, because there are thousands and thousands of businesses like yours competing for the same keywords. We can classify acquisition channels in three categories: reputational, informational, and transactional. When you run a PR campaign, your goal is not to immediately generate leads, but to establish your brand as highly reputable publicly, making it easier to later generate leads through more transactional channels like SEO, organic social content, cold email, or cold calling. Some channels are designed to warm up prospects upstream, while others are meant to generate opportunities downstream. In the end, the most effective sales and marketing plays are those that combines multiple channels in a very smart way. If you're in the startup phase, you are better off quickly identifying a single effective channel and focusing all your efforts on it. At ICPs, our acquisition strategy started with pure cold email, and then gradually we plan to increase our efforts in SEO and content creation for platforms like LinkedIn and YouTube. So I hope that this short introduction to acquisition channels shed some light on the differences between all those channels and that it will help you pick the right ones. Thanks for watching this, and I hope it's going to be useful. See you.